Welcome back. It is yours truly, Nick of Movie AV Impulse. And today I want to go over a movie with one of the greatest actors in Hollywood. And yes, I said it. One of the greatest actors in Hollywood, at least in my opinion. Personal preference, say what you want. The reason why I chose this movie is because it really kind of hits close to home. And what movie is that? First, let's get into that intro. And that actor that I'm talking about is Leonardo DiCaprio in one of his, I think, greatest movies and most hidden gems, because whenever you talk about Leonardo DiCaprio, like the first three movies that always come into play is What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Titanic, and then you got the newer one, which is like Wolf on Wall Street, Catch Me If You Can. I mean, there's so many of them that these are the movies that he gets most recognized for. But Basketball Diaries, to me, is one of those hidden gem movies that if I was to tell somebody to dip back into Leonardo's archive, that would be one of them. And I think from my last choice would be The Revenant, which is for some reason why the movie that he won an Oscar on. I mean, this guy should have won an Oscar with What's Eating Gilbert Grape, in my personal opinion. This Boy's Life was a phenomenal movie. Robert De Niro as his stepfather. It was just powerful. And then you have Basketball Diaries. This man played a strung out drug addict in one of the greatest performances that I've seen of all time. I mean, his portrayal of Jim is just insane. And it's never really talked about. So today, let's go over it a little bit. And we're going to discuss why it's only gotten a Blu-ray release. And I don't understand why it's not on 4K. This is one of those movies that's very grainy, very dark. But if we lighten up some of those dark scenes, I think it could look phenomenal on 4K Blu-ray. I think 4K restoration should be done on certain movies, certain genres of movies, and dramas is one of them, because this is a phenomenal drama. Another reason why I picked out this movie, besides the brilliant performance by all of the cast, is because this one kind of hit home. You know, I kind of grew up, a lot of family was into drugs and they had to overcome a lot of things. And after watching this movie, this kind of made me, even at a very young age, when I first watched this, I think I was 14 or 15, it made me just realize these are the things that I don't want to be. And I didn't want to deal with all that, especially growing up in sort of that kind of environment. It just felt really real to me. And having to see this stuff and then seeing Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, going through this role and really hitting home what it feels like and what it looks like when you are going through withdrawal, it is insane. Now, if you haven't seen Basketball Diaries, it is a story about a up-and-coming basketball team, a bunch of friends, and they all just hang out together. Premise of the story is that they're like top-notch basketball players. This is set in the 60s. So, you know, in their generation, they were like top kings. They only had one school rival and they all went to a Catholic school. So they never really got into like all the drugs and the alcohol or anything like that. They just kind of were like average teenagers, you know, running around the streets and just kind of getting into a little bit of mischief. It took one night of one of his buddies to say, hey, you know, let's go check out some of these females that I got. Went up to meet these girls, and this is where his downfall starts. He ends up trying some coke, and from there fell in love with it. And the story just takes a real dark, dramatic turn on all the different places that he's had to go to acquire money. They went to break-ins. Mark Wahlberg was like his culprit. He was like his right-hand man during all these crimes, because Mark Wahlberg was another one that got addicted to the drugs. His other friend too used to steal from the teammates that would play the rival basketball teams. They would steal like their watches, their jewelry, their money, their coats, their whatever they could sell. They were stealing them. Absolutely a phenomenal movie. And it takes one guy to try to help Leonardo to get out of this addiction. And Leo plays dramatic intensity that you see in Leonardo during these scenes. I mean, I don't understand how he wasn't nominated for an Oscar back then. Again, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't want to give away too much because there's so much more to this. You should definitely check it out. This has been a real short, just kind of overlook of it. And the reason why I feel like it needs a 4K restoration is because it's a phenomenal movie. We got a Blu-ray release, and I would really like to see it come alive because Leo deserves a lot of respect in this Hollywood game. Anyways, I will see you on Wednesday for my top 5, and next Sunday, thank you. Hit that like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for the love and support, and I will see you on Wednesday.